What I would advise any real estate agents, any real estate broker, is to know that you never can tell where your next business is gonna come from. It may come from the least likely place. I'll tell you real story. Real story. I was working. This was here in Dubai. I just finished a meeting. I didn't have the meeting so far from where I live, so I was walking home, and then someone just kind of stumbled into me. I turned around. I was like, oh, and then we had a conversation. The person was looking to buy real estate in Dubai. And I closed on that.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Bursey. And today we have a fantastic guest who helps agents and investors transition from just surviving to truly scaling their business. We're sitting down with Dr. Gloria Esoimeme, the founder of Aglo Consulting. Gloria, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Scott.
It is a pleasure to have you here. Before we dive into the how, I want to talk about the who. For those just meeting you, tell us about your path that led you to real estate and your core mission and where you are today.
Okay. So I am an internal medicine physician primarily. However, I got into real estate while I was still in training. And my reason for getting into real estate was more for tax savings. I wasn't even thinking about the return on investment. I wasn't thinking about capital appreciation. I was just thinking, okay, now I'm in training. In a few months, in a few years, I'll be having the fat doctor salary. And I didn't want to give all the money to Uncle Sam. So I'm like, how do I save? And I started looking into different vehicles. And the one that made the most sense to me was real estate. So I said, okay, I'll get real estate while I'm still in training. And fortunately for me as a physician, there is the physician loan that gives us the opportunity to buy real estate with zero down. And at the time when I bought real estate, it was the buyer's market. So my closing cost was paid. All I paid out of pocket was $2,000. So that's how I broke into the market. And that's how I got my first home. And then after residency, some people were like, "Oh, are you gonna sell?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna sell." I put it out in the market, and it's one of the best decisions I ever made. And then I moved to a new city, and I did the same thing all over again. And then I said, "Okay, I need to move into like the short-term rentals." And then I started doing Airbnbs. It was still the same process of, I wasn't looking at the return on investment per se. I was looking at tax savings because I looked at the short-term rental. As a physician, what I make in a month as my profit from one unit, I can make it a day. However, if I look at the long term, but what I would save in taxes, I will be better off going through that stress, because running short-term rentals, especially if you're running short-term rentals for you to save in taxes, it's a lot of work. It's like running a hotel. So if you have one, you have two, you have three, it's a lot of work. However, I wasn't looking at the cash flow. What I was looking at was more like the tax savings. And then everything just started compounding, and I decided to move my business to to move internationally. And then I crossed over from the US and I moved to the United Arab Emirates because the real estate market here is just growing. And I felt like, since if I want to do real estate big time, I might as well diversify. And then I moved to the UAE. I bought my first unit here, and then I started helping Americans invest in the UAE as well. So that's where I am currently. And at the time of this recording, we are in the middle of the Iran war. So things have changed a little bit.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Well, that was a great explanation, and what an exciting journey, and what a worthwhile quest that you have, Doctor. So let's dive right in.
Yeah.
Gloria, for a real estate pro looking to scale, what's the single most
Yeah.
overlooked area of their current business model, would you say?
What most people overlook is they overlook small towns. People look at big cities, they look at houses worth like $700,000, $1 million. That has its utility. However, if you're someone without so much money, so much free cash to invest, you can start in a small town. I remember when I got my third unit, my sister, who is an accountant, she sat me down, she said, "You live in the small town. There really is no tourism here. So how you know?" She was looking at the numbers. I looked at the numbers, but I said, what's the worst that could happen? If I don't get a tenant, I can still afford to pay this rent. I'm not going to cry. I'll be fine paying this rent. And then there were factors I looked at. I said, we have a big hospital here. It's not a big town, but there's a big hospital. So people were going to come from other towns to this little town, because I didn't have the data at the time. I said, we have a college here. They're not like we don't have Harvard, we don't have Boston University, we don't have Mayo, but this is also, we have like 3-4 universities here. So people would also come into this town. So something I see most people overlook is the small town. And from that small town, I've been able to, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I've been lucky with my real estate decisions. Most of them I've made good decisions, but investing in a small town was one of the wisest things I ever did.
That's a critical distinction. Focusing on systemized lead management is definitely where the high leverage work happens. And Gloria,
Yes.
interested to know, Aglo Consulting focuses on growth. Can you share one high
Correct.
impact marketing strategy that is currently working for real estate agents right now that isn't just relying on, let's say, social media?
So, well, social media is the way to go now. I can't even deny that. Two things, word of mouth that works well. Like just having Okay, so let me take steps back. Before we look at the medium in which we are going to advertise, let's look at who is advertising. So you as a person, you need to be a person of integrity. You need to, while some people have offered me so much money to advertise some of the markets that are not stable, and I said, no, I can't do that. I want the money because I'm not like, I can do with more money, but I said, this does not go with my value system. I cannot advertise this because I would not buy this myself or at this point in time. So being a person of integrity, like when I moved to the UAE, many people who bought through me, some of them didn't even understand what I was saying, but they trusted my judgment. They knew I would not lie. So you as a person, you just develop being that person of integrity when, when your word is your bond. I think that's the first thing, because you have to be that first before you show the world who you are. And to show the world who you are, it's word of mouth. One person buys through you, or you scaling. One person comes into your circle, another person brings another person. Nothing beats word of mouth. However, for you to really scale in 2026 and beyond, you need to have a social media presence. uh, it's you need to build your brand. You need to be visible. Before, people would go on TV, they would go on the different networks, but 2026 has made it so easy that you can be your own TV station. You can broadcast whenever you want to broadcast. You can advertise for more people to see, but you have so much more control. So I think social media and word of mouth, those are one of the biggest ways to scale once you've already developed who you are, your brand, your reputation.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Excellent point, Doctor. What I'm taking away from what you just said, building lasting authority over fleeting trends. That's
Oh
powerful.
yeah. Yes.
And Gloria, interested to also know, this has been on my mind since we booked you. When should a successful individual agent know it's time to transition from being a solo operator to building a team? And what's the biggest challenge they should prepare for?
So that's a loaded question, because that it's two. You asked me two questions, like when and then the challenge. For me personally, if you run, depends on your business model. So mine, I have like short-term rentals, I have long-term rentals. I help people. I do advisement. So if you have a short-term rental, by all means, you have to start developing your team, because you need to have reliable cleaners, you need to have reliable handymen, so that you do from day one. However, if you're doing it full time, you may still have time to do the booking, take care of things like that. But if you're doing it part time, then from day two, once you bought your property, then you need to start having team members and then gradually scale. So for me, I have a team in the US. They manage my short-term rentals. They've been with me for years. I don't have to micromanage. They know how I think, they know what the standards are, and they live up to the expectation. And then here, because I do a lot of social media marketing, I had to develop a team here. So that was initially, I was subcontracting the services. I would have one agency do some parts, but now I've gotten to the stage where I have everything done in house. I have someone who manages operations. I have someone who is the creative director. So I've built a team. So I would say it depends on how much revenue you're making. Because if you're just starting, you don't want to hiring takes a lot of money, so you don't want to put everything out there. But at the same time, to scale, you need to have people support you. That's the only way you can scale fast. And some of the challenges is finding the right fit. What I look for, so I'll start with the very basics, right? So when I was with my short-term rental, before I found this team that I work with now, I went through maybe 7, 8 different people. I don't swear naturally, because I'm Christian. I'm very mindful of the words that come out of my mouth. But those people made me swear a lot. Like I was throwing like, words coming out of my mouth. I'm like, did I just say that? But that's how upset they made me.
Mm.
Yes. So how I knew I had found the right team back in the US was when I was interviewing the lady. She said, you know what? the better we take care of this property for you, the more you're going to get guests. And then the more you're going to give us more money. I was like, oh, I found the right person. We have the same vision at this point in time. And it's still the same principle I have carried with me the whole time, that I need people who would buy into the vision that we have, that they know, fine, it's my business. But however, if this business thrives, you thrive along with the business. We are all growing together. So just having people who have the same lens, the same, who can see, who have the same vision as I have, that's one of the most important ways in scaling when you're building a team.
Outstanding breakdown, Doctor. Understanding the difference between being busy and being productive is key to that
It's
transition.
key. Yes,
Delegation is a must. It is a must. And
it is.
curious to
It
know,
is.
Gloria, what's your advice for real estate investors on navigating the current volatile interest rate environment? Should they be pivoting for their investment strategy?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
That's a tricky one, because initially when the interest rates started going up, we thought it was going to come down, but it's been sustained over time, and since it's now sustained, then what you need to do is work your numbers, if because you still you don't want your cash just lying under your pillow or in the bank without it working for you. So it's to be a little bit more, look at the numbers a little bit more, but I would still say invest, because I bought properties at 7% interest rate and I'm cash flowing. So it's for you to look at the numbers, look at the market. I would not say do not invest, but I would just say invest cautiously. At some point we had rates of like 2 point something percent, but now it's 7, but I'm still cash flowing from both the one that was, like 2-3% to the one that's 7. So it's looking at the numbers critically. Um, you know, be cautious, but still invest.
That makes sense. Focusing on creative financing options and value add properties offers a necessary hedge against market uncertainty. Doctor,
Right.
last question. Before we let you go, what's the one piece of consulting advice from Aglo that you believe every real estate professional should implement this quarter to see measurable returns?
Hmm. That's a good question. So, what I would advise any real estate agents, any real estate broker, is to know that you never can tell where your next business is gonna come from. It may come from the least likely place. I'll tell you real story. Real story. I was working. This was here in Dubai. I just finished a meeting. I didn't have the meeting so far from where I live, so I was walking home. And then someone just kind of stumbled into me. I turned around. I was like, oh, and then we had a conversation. The person was looking to buy real estate in Dubai. And I closed on that. Right. So you never can tell. You never can tell where your next business is coming from. So
Yeah.
just be polite, be friendly. You're always selling, you're always marketing, you're always advertising even when you're not. So it's just know you don't know where your next business is gonna come from. So that's what I'll say.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. And we also wanted to give you any opportunity to convey any message to our audience as well. Any takeaways or golden nuggets that you'd like to share?
Yes, I do. So I want to speak to three sets of people, or maybe four. So the first set of people would be, if you have enough. We kind of touched on it a little bit. I think real estate is one of the most secure investments you could ever do. And if you're not doing it, think about it critically, because the beauty of real estate is that you could cash flow. And even when you're not cash flowing a lot, you can also get equity over time. So that's one message. Then the second is that there's so many people who are interested in investing in real estate, but they say, oh, I make $100,000 a year. I make $60,000 a year. I can never get enough cash to invest. So something you could do is find people who you trust, and then you guys can start together. And then gradually you can start to scale. Okay. Then another group of people I want to speak to is people who are younger, who are thinking of joining the military. There's so many reasons to join the military. I'm not asking anyone to join the military, especially at this time where there's a war going on, but just listen, and then you can take my advice if you want to. But there's benefit in joining the military. They may not pay you a lot of money. However, there's so many benefits that could lead to wealth if you take advantage of the situation. Because I know a physician who he had the VA benefits, and then he had the physician loan, and he paid $200 for his first home that he bought. I've had siblings who are in the military. They've bought houses just because they were in the military. They had the VA loan, which you don't have to put anything down. And but yeah, let me see what other advice. Then this part, like my fellow doctors, if you are a physician and I think you should take advantage of the physician loan. That's one low entryway where you could buy a home. You don't have to put anything down. And then you can buy your first home, buy your second, and then scale from there. So those are the words of advice I have for our listeners.
That is some excellent advice, Doctor. And thank you so much for that. So we covered a lot of ground here today, and I know people are going to want to tap into your brain specifically. For the listeners who want to build with you or just follow your play-by-play of your journey, your unique journey, what's the best way for them to reach you?
I'm on Instagram. It's same name, Gloria Esoimeme. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. You can find me. I'm not hard to find. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere.
Gloria, thank you for joining us today and for sharing your vital insights. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Scott.
And for our listeners, we appreciate you. If you got value out of today's episode, please subscribe. We have more conversations coming up with exceptional operators just like Gloria. Until next time, keep your standards high and your vision clear. We'll see you in the next episode, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.